that quite a bit, and quite a few people had some health problems and issues. So I'm sending you a lot of good vibes, and I hope that you're gonna feel better soon. So 2023, are you excited? I always feel like the new year is a clean slate, is again a 12-month journey to discover something new about yourself. And I want to do it in a very compassionate way. So I want to talk about the habits that work in 2023 and how we can connect with ourselves to make the goals, make the plans and intentions really compassionate, and meet them and realize them in a better, compassionate way. So for many, many years, I have not been setting any personal goals because I was working in the corporate and I was believing that, well, I have the goals there. I don't have to have anything in terms of the personal thing. I knew that I wanted to be healthy and fit, so I was just continuing with my health regime. So that could be going to the gym or swimming, whatever. But over the last few years, I've started to setting up personal goals because I've realized that they are taking me closer to the healthier version of myself. So health for me is the most important goal or plan or intention, and what the habit is going to look like to support my health journey. And we over the years we've learned how to plan effectively and efficiently for ourselves. Our life changes, the lifestyle changes, we may have different health goals over the years, and sometimes we just think what is going to work for us this year. That really requires understanding our habits, what they are today, and what we want them to be to support our goals. It's okay. We can have a goal like, I want to lose weight, I want to eat better, but this is all very, very generic. And without the proper habits in place, it's not going to happen. So we want to create the habits that actually support where we are on our journey and where we want to be. I usually plan it backwards. So I will, for example, say or visualize myself in December 2023, and this is how I want to look like. I will imagine everything, including the clothes, where I am, how I feel. So I connect all my 5 senses in order to create that excitement in my body. Now, this works on a kind of delayed gratification. So obviously, I know that I have to create habits that will be fun and joyful to achieve what I want in December. Because, it's not going to happen on its own. And obviously, that effect in December is a long way away. And I realized over the last few years that if I don't have fun during the process, or don't have fun with my habits, then it's not going to happen, because at some point I will just see that I'm just realizing a certain list of chores to do, something that I have added on to already a long list. So the way I do it, and I'll just give you some inspirations. First of all, it's always good to learn about the habits and how they create or being created in our life, and the habits we want to get rid of, and the habits we want to put in new in the place again. Now, it's not an easy process. Creation of habits is very psychologically oriented. And quite often, a lot of our habits are automatic, so we don't have to make a decision every second, right? So our brain likes to automate some of the habits. So some of the bad habits, unfortunately, could be automated. Like, for example, we sit on the sofa and watch the film, so we grab the crisp because we've always done it, and we sometimes don't even realize it's a kind of the brain connotation to do it. to do it that way because we've always been done it. So how we can break that habit, because obviously that's not going to serve if we want to lose weight, feel fitter and have better skin and whatever, right? So we want to replace that with something else. Now, I'm a morning person, so I'm not saying that to be successful in your habits, you have to get up at 4 and 5 a.m. That's what I do. I actually get up at 6 a.m. because I have my normal work. And then I know that I want to do something for myself early in the morning. And I feel better with it. I have not been very consistent over the December. I think December was a bit of a strange month, and that's okay. Sometimes we just need to have a break, reshuffle our priorities, and understand that what we want to continue with in our life. Now, the way I've done it, and I'll give you inspiration. This is The Miracle Morning, and this is the book by Elrod, and I really highly recommend that to you because I never had any morning routine. Obviously, his morning routine is very elaborate, but over the years, I have adjusted to the time I have and to what I really want to do. But some of the elements left. So a bit of exercise, meditation, journaling, understanding where I am, focusing on clarity. I just don't want to start my day, for example, from scrolling social media, because that just builds up such massive anxiety and things. Although I do have a business and I do things on social media, I never start with it in the morning. I used to, but I felt like it's just very tempting to go and check and scroll, and by the time you know it, it's 30 minutes of scrolling around this. Some people treat it as a newspaper and they read some news and just understand what is out there. That's fine, but you have to be quite disciplined to do it, so you don't drag yourself into looking at something that you didn't want. And unfortunately, that's what social media algorithms how they work. They draw us in. So in the book, it gives me the structure for the morning because I didn't have that. And over the years, I developed. So this is a good thing if you wanted to develop something in the morning. I feel my brain is the freshest in the morning. My willpower is the strongest in the morning. And it goes down a little bit over the day. I used to be a lot of the night person, and I'm still doing a few things at night, but I've also noticed that if I do a lot of the things before I go to bed or in the evening, my brain is racing with a lot of different ideas and with a lot of different things, and I can't fall asleep. And my sleep is like my holy grail. I can do everything if I have a good night's sleep. If I don't, I won't have any kind of energy. So I'm not sure about you, how it is for you, but most of the people suffer if they don't have enough good sleep, good quality sleep. And I'm not saying that it should be a certain number of hours, but it should be a good quality sleep of this REM, so a kind of the deep sleep. So very important for me. So I try to just relax in the evening, and I try to read something. Maybe I will still do a gratitude journal, but I don't do a lot of thought work in the evening because my brain is like so activated. So habits. What habit's going to work for you in 2023? If you've written already your goals or plans, intentions for this year, what you can do, what kind of habits you want to develop for each of those goals. So for me, like if I want to have the energy for the whole day, is actually getting up at 6 a.m., for example, and doing certain things. That's my kind of habit, which I'm sort of making sure that is there, right? It's not still yet perfectly done. And it's not about the perfection, but I want to make sure that it is really ingrained, that I get up at 6 a.m. after a good night's sleep and I do some of those things, or sometimes just have a break for myself, right? It's also good to know where to let go. So every habit works on a habit loop kind of thing. And if you want to learn about habits, I highly recommend those two books. So the first I read is The Power of Habit, and this is Charles Duhigg, and I'll put it in the show notes. So why we do what we do and how to change. This is like a psychology of the habits, and habits are difficult to change. And people say, what's 21 days? It's like, it depends, you know. And the other thing is Atomic Habits by James Clear. So Tiny Habits. The other good book is Ben Foggle, Tiny Habits. I always recommend this to my clients because I want them to understand the habit loop and how it works. But if we do coaching together, I basically show them all, you know, the habit loop they have and give them suggestions to what this new habit could be. So the habit loop works very simply in the simple terms. It's more complicated when you read the books, but in the simple terms, there is a cue and there is a reward, and there are certain actions happening in that kind of the circle. So the cue is something triggers us to perform the habit. So, and sometimes it's automatic. Like for example, we brushing your teeth. It's very automatic. It just happens early in the morning, and that's what we do. And what is the reward is the feeling of freshness in our mouth. We're feeling ready to go and do things in our day, right? So that's a kind of the reward, and it has been so long in most of our lives that we don't even think about it. It automatically happens, right? So it's always a cue. So the cue could be for a bad habit, for example, it could be a very stressful day, and you come back home and then you have a glass of wine because that's for you. I'm stressed. I need some relaxation, and that's the only way I know it. So I'm gonna have a glass of wine. That was me for a bit of my life. I didn't overdrink, but I also found that wine and glass of wine was a kind of the thing that actually contributed to my relaxation. But the thing is, the problem still stays there. I'm still stressed, and I haven't done anything to release my stress other than just numb my feelings and my kind of emotions around how I feel. And I didn't want to do it. Right? So that could be the habit, automatic habit. So first of all, it's important to have an awareness of some of the bad habits that we have and some of the good ones we want to have a place. So the cue probably is going to be the same, right? So if I'm stressed and I want to have a good or better habit in place, yeah. So if I'm stressed, I then gonna go and relax and go for a walk in the nature. I'm gonna have a nice cup of herbal tea. I'm gonna journal about it, how I feel, or just basically close my eyes and just feel a little bit who I am through that stress levels. Breathe. Breathing is such a good exercise and just good action anyway, but you don't really have to do much, but breathe with the conscious and awareness, and then relaxing your whole body. And then that is the reward. The reward is feeling better, doing something for yourself that decreases your stress levels, right? That is the example, and that takes a little bit of awareness and practicing. Habits are all about repetition, right? Habits not gonna just happen because we've only done it once. Habits, new habits especially, require the repetition. So let's say I'm gonna repeat that the whole week and see how I feel, right? And be honest with yourself. So that's basically understanding the habit loop, the cue. So it could be a kind of a triggering different things, but quite often it's a behavior we want to get rid of because it doesn't support the goal we have, like for feeling healthier mentally, physically, right? And then having that reward. And the perception of the reward, this is the work you're not necessarily, you will have to do with the mind and the body, because you have to associate that kind of reward with something that is really good and enjoyable for you. So sometimes when people go to the gym and train very hard, They may be aching, they may be not really, like their body is not like intuitively we say like, I'm going to the gym, I'm gonna feel some pain, right? I have to run for 10 minutes on the treadmill. I hate it, right? So we have a lot of this negative talk. So there isn't any kind of positive perception of the reward. Yes, that reward, maybe we're going to get fitter, but it's going to be very long down the line before we actually feel it. So the idea is how to feel it in our body now. So I'm going to the gym for 30 minutes just to start with, and I'm gonna do some fun exercise there, right? I'm gonna, I don't know, have a walking on the treadmill. Maybe I'll listen to some nice music. Like I'm trying to make it positive experience for me rather than a painful. And we may not even consciously do that, but our body will recognize it, right? Our body will tell you that, your body will tell you that it's not going to be fun in that gym. It's not going to be fun in that training because I will be aching and I will be out of breath and whatever. It could be something different for you. Just these are the examples. It's the same like with the healthy cooking. Oh my goodness, I will have to chop everything and I have to find the recipes. I have to find time. So before we know it, we want to eat healthy, but we have so many kind of obstacles already to actually not cooking healthy, right? Because obviously it takes time. So why don't we just make it easy? In the first instance, just buy things that are already chopped. Maybe buy good healthy recipe boxes with everything delivered to you for a few meals, like not every day because it could be a bit more expensive. So making the habits that work for you, but in a very fun, interesting way, but also understanding how the habits loop work, what is the cue, what is the reward. And you can start with one at the very beginning, right? And journaling is basically very good to increase your awareness around what is happening in our life. And journaling also about how you feel in your body, how you feel intuitively about it. So it's not about only the appearance and the look of it, but also how you want to feel, my dear listener. So I hope that was useful. Tell me in the comments. Would love to know about your recipe for successful habits, because we all have different ways to get where we want to be. I, over the years, learn and also work with the clients to do it in a more feminine way. Like we don't have to meet all of our goals in the first month and then we'll be so exhausted. Sometimes we are limited on the time. So I work with my clients looking at their calendar, what is really realistic and possible for them. If they want 3 times the gyms, but I have no time for it at all, first of all, we need to find the time in the calendar to do that first trip to the gym and make it regular. Research shows, for example, that when we exercise at the same time during the day, we are more probably likely to stick to that habit because we already wiring our brain and creating new neural pathways in our brain that, for example, morning is for exercise, Monday evening is for Pilates, for me, for example, and I already have that and I go out. Although sometimes I just feel like, oh, it's cold and it's raining and I've been driving in such a horrendous conditions. But I was thinking like, I want to do it and I feel stronger. My core is stronger. My lower back is fantastic after now a few months of doing very good Pilates lessons. So there is a reward. It's how you perceive it now and how you perceive it in the future. It's totally possible to complete your goals and plans and intentions as long as you have habits and behavior supporting what you want to achieve. Now, as I said, if you are short on time, what is important to do is just basically find that one thing you want to change rather than 5, even if they are on your list, but you have 12 months to do it, all right? Would love to obviously hear your comments, would love to know how you're getting on. And if you want to work with with a coach this year, obviously you can book the discovery call, 30 minutes, just to understand whether we are a good fit and see whether you can work on one-on-one and see if this is something for you or something new for you to explore this year. Take care. Let's do really realize our goals in a happy, fun way. And I'm looking forward to celebrating with you in December 2023. Take care.